Have you ever wondered why the businesses out there with average products actually dominate the market, or they take over the market share in their given niche, and the businesses with the actual superior products are stuck at the bottom fighting for scraps? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly the reason behind that. And I'm also going to give you a framework to think from, especially when you're creating marketing messaging for your customers. And if you're new here, my name is Gabriel Laurent, and I help service based small businesses or medium sized businesses craft better messages to the right people at the right time. And it's all backed by behavioral science and first principles. So, fair warning, if you're somebody that just wants quick tips and tricks or tactics, then this channel isn't for you. So, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. Now, before I tell you the difference why businesses that's average or have mediocre products or services do better than businesses with superior products most of the time, I want to show you or bring your attention to these two boxes on the screen. So, this is a framework that you need to be thinking from whenever we create advertising or marketing messaging. And as you can see, you have system one thinking and system two thinking. Now, this is the framework to which people make decisions, or better yet, buying decisions. So it's important to know about this framework, especially from a marketing or advertising standpoint. And it was a this was created by this behavioral scientist called Daniel Kahneman. Rest in peace, his soul. This is his life's work. He won a Nobel Peace Prize for this study. So let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about the characteristics of system one and the characteristics of system two, and why it's important to what we're going to discuss today. So, as I said, these are two modes of thinking that we use, especially when we're making buying decisions. So I'm going to start with system one. So with system one is it's geared towards taking action. So it's fast, it's automatic. That's why the scientist Kahneman named it as the autopilot way of thinking, because you just do things without actually thinking about it. So think of like when you've driven to work or you've driven to the gym and you just done it on autopilot, and you've not even remembered the journey of how you got there. So, or think of all the actions that you do on a day-to-day basis, which is just done on autopilot without you having to exert brain power to think about what you're doing. So system one, as I said, is fast, it's geared towards action, and it's sort of automatic thinking. Now, another important thing to note here is that with system one, it's what processes everything that we perceive in our environment. So all the senses, so our sight, hearing, taste, touch, it's all processed by system one. So that is why we all of our marketing messaging should align and should be compatible with system one. Now, with system two is the analytical or the logical parts of our brain. And it's so if system one is geared for more action oriented thinking, system two is the more reflective part, the logical part that it's much more slower, and it's what you use when you want to reflect and make sense of a situation. But the key thing here is system two is very lazy. It doesn't want to think. So in essence, what system two is, it should be, well, it is in certain regards, it should be an enforcer for system one. So when system one processes information, it should then take it in and then obviously analyze it. But because it's lazy, it oftentimes endorse rather than enforce. So it just goes with what system one suggests at times. That's why you will make mistakes, or we're prone to cognitive biases, because system one takes information and then jumps to conclusion without actually thinking about, is this the right decision to make in this given context. So those are the difference between system one and system two. So the big thing here is that system two don't want to think, because it's a lot of effort. It's effortful when we have to think and reflect. So that's why we have system one, to make quick decisions. And it makes sense, because think about it. Imagine if we had to think about every decision that we make in a day, we wouldn't get nothing done. So it's a way of being efficient in terms of how we think. Now, system one is the gatekeeper, as I said, for everything that we perceive in our environment, in our space, everything that we see through, our eyes. So it would make sense that we would channel all of our marketing messaging to align with system one. Now, the important thing to remember here is that the our brain is not made for thinking. It is, well, system two can do it, but it's not what it wants to do. So it wants cognitive ease rather than cognitive load. So think about anything that's confusing or hard to understand. We will oftentimes just give it up and not bother, because it's too much pressure, too much calories being burnt to actually understand what's going on. So our brain is not made for thinking, because if you think about our ancestors back in the day on the savannah, you know, it was quick action. They see a saber-toothed tiger, and it's a quick reaction. Okay, let's get away, let's get to safety. It wasn't trying to think and analyze and make sense of the situation, or else I wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be here watching this video either, and there would be no such thing as YouTube. So that is why. So we need to align our messaging so it's compatible with system one, or the way that people think in terms of system one. Now, the important thing to understand is that strong brands, they operate on the system one. So it's like people don't have to think about, like, Apple. No, but any if you're an Apple user, it's like you don't have to think when they come out with a new iPhone or a new laptop. It's like you already know what they offer, and it's going to be a great product. So strong brands, they operate on the system one, where people don't actually have to think. They can just make decisions on autopilot. Whereas if you got a weak brand, or you got a weak offer, or your messaging is not quite right, then you're going to be operating on system two, which is more thinking logically and analytically. What happens when we're thinking logical and analytical, we don't tend to make decisions. Whereas if you have a strong brand, a strong message, a strong offer, it goes straight to system one, and then not sort of, but it circumvents system two thinking. So your buyer, the customers, not actually have to use brain power to think, okay, is this legit? Is this right for me? X, Y, and Z. So now that we've got the framework established, we want to talk about why your competitor maybe is outsmarting and beating you. And the important thing is to remember here is that goal drives our attention. So when you're advertising, when you're doing marketing, what you're actually vying for is people's attention. And if you're not creating the right messaging at the right time to the right people, your whatever you're offering is just going to be ignored. And especially if you're having people to think about what you're offering, like, is this going to work for me? They're not going to do it, because remember, as we said, system two don't want to think. It wants to give most of the decision making to system one to make on autopilot. So it's important to know that whatever goal somebody has, you have to align the right message to them, to signal to them that you can help them reach their goals. So goals drive attention. So you know how I'm saying that it's a lot of the businesses, they might not be great, but because they are signaling the right message to the consumer goals, that's why they get paid attention to, or that's why they get the attention of the customer. So it's not about being the best. It's about sending signals that fit with the consumer goals. And I'm going to give you an example in a minute of what I mean by that. So And here's the science to back that up. So there's this great guy called Herbert Simon, rest in peace. Um, he was a computer science. He's also done work in economics and also cognitive psychology, and he came up with this theory of bounded rationality. And what that basically is that people don't make optimal decisions; they make satisfactory decisions in terms of what they buy or purchase from an economical standpoint. So they're not looking for the best option out there. They're just looking for something that will be good enough. And he called this satisficing, which is basically something that is satisfactory, and it will suffice for the goal that they're trying to achieve. So the reason why bounded rationality makes sense is because, think about it, we are bounded by, or we're constrained by time. All of us, we have busy lives, so time is limited. We also have the information out there is too much. If we were to sat and trying to scale through all the information and find out the best option, it will take us forever. So we are bounded by time, or we're constrained. The constraints are time, limited time, um too much information to process, and also in terms of cognitively, it's just too much load on our decision making. So think about the autopilot and the pilot, or the system 1 and system 2. We don't want to be thinking. So even if we're making an option, we're just going to be looking at three or two or three options, and then making a decision. So that's why boundary rationality makes sense here. So you see, it's not about being the best. And this is not me saying that you shouldn't have a great product. You should. But that what I'm showing you is that the reason why these businesses who don't really have a great product, but maybe their messaging is superior, that's why they win. And then the people or the businesses with the actual good product might suffer because they're not actually putting out the right message that's going to signal to the customer that, hey, this can help you achieve your desired outcome. So relevance and context are key, especially when it comes to attention. So this acronym you see on the screen, where it's WSWW, is like, we see what we want. Okay, now I'm going to show you an example of what I mean here. So let's go down to, let's go down to this image here. So I took this from a book called Decoded: The Science Behind Why We Buy, and it was written by this author called Phil Barden. So, and it's great. It's gonna show you exactly how our goals drive our attention. So this was a study they done, and basically this person is walking down the high street, and their intention is to shop. Now, with the goal, their goal is to shop. Let's say their goal is to they're going clothes shopping, right? So that's their goal. Now, this is what you're seeing. This is what your eyes are showing you, but this is not what your brain's perceiving, because you're hungry. You're not actually paying attention to, for example, in the UK, you have retailers that sell clothes like Zara or Primark or H&M. So let's just use those as examples. Because you're hungry, you're not actually paying attention to those signage. So let's read this little paragraph here. So attention is driven by what we value at that given time. So that's why I say relevance and context is key. The bottom two figures show eye tracker results for study participants who were hungry on the lower left panel. So you see now, they're looking at now is signals that's going to send a message to their brain that aligns with their goal. So look, you see the McDonald's sign here. So that's what they're focused on. So it says hungry participants focused on the McDonald's logo, while the group who was satiated or not hungry allocated more attention to the shop window and logos. So do you see now what I'm saying is like, your messaging has to signal that you have the value that's going to help a customer achieve their desired goal, and it has to be in the right context, and to the right person. So when they were hungry, that's what they were focused on. They weren't worried about, Zara, H&M, and all of these other clothes retailer. But then you can imagine, then as soon as they are not hungry or they're satiated, now the attention is back on the um the retailers that sells clothes. Now because they've completed the goal of hunger, they're now fed. They're not hungry anymore. They're not gonna Five Guys, buffets, anything, Burger King. They're not gonna pay attention to that because that's not aligning with the goal that they're trying to achieve immediately. So that's that. And as I said, that's the credit to the author and the book. Now, how does this link to a landing page in terms of how can you create the right messaging that signal to people that, hey, I can help you achieve your goal? So I want you to imagine this. So let's say we have two dental clinics, and both of them are running Google ads. So I'm going to show you the first example here. So but let's talk about the prospect. So Charlotte is going to a business summit in 2 weeks, and she wants to make a good impression, but she's subconscious about her teeth. It's one of her biggest insecurities, right? So she wants to get her teeth whitened before this business summit, because she knows this is a big opportunity that can potentially change her life. So she wants to, show out. So let's go here. So Charlotte types in dental clinic. So she sees this all of these options. Now she sees Infinity Dental Clinic, and it's close by. It's in proximity to where she lives. So Charlotte clicks on. She clicks on it now. So remember, Charlotte wants her teeth whitened. Now she clicks on this, and she's scanning, she's looking, she can't see exactly what she's looking for. And then she see implants. Nope, I don't want implants. So she sees treatments. And then she's scanning, she don't want veneers, she don't. So, and actually, there we go, teeth whitening. So the simple, safe, and effective way to brighten your smile. Speak with us. So many things is going through Charlotte's mind right now. So she's like, I need this to be done within the next week or so, because I have this summit in 2 weeks. And pricing, how much will it cost? Is it going to be expensive? All of these things. What is it going to work? All of these objections going on in Charlotte's mind right now. When we going back to what we spoke about, the framework at the start, system 1 and system 2 thinking. Remember, our brain don't actually want to think. If it can go without thinking, that's what it will do. And remember how I say system 1 is geared toward action taking, so it's fast. It wants things that's intuitive, where it can make quick decisions. And all of our marketing messaging should align or be compatible with the system 1 way of thinking, which is what we use to make majority of our decisions. So it's like, you want the decision to be on autopilot. You don't want your customer or your clients or prospects even to be having to figure out and think, oh, will this work, or how much does it cost, or what is the actual offer, and they having to scroll and click different links. So you've seen that thing now. So they've essentially lost Charlotte. Charlotte's clicked off now. And this was just a screenshot, but I just wanted to show you in actual, like, in real time what it would look like. So let's go to the second business now, and they've actually followed the system 1 blueprint, the framework we spoke about at the start. So this is just a mock-up that I done. This is not the real deal. I just done this to, they say there's power in demonstration. So I just want to show you this, what I done as a mock-up. So as you can see here, this is what you'd see when you go into Google. So it says Primal Dental, which is a name I made up. So here's the offer. So Charlotte's not interested in dental implants or veneers or all these other things. She wants to whiten her teeth. That's the goal that she's trying to achieve. So she's looking for messaging that aligns with that. She's just going to ignore anything else that doesn't align with her. And if she's having to work to look for the thing that she wants, she's just not going to do it. And that's how you lose customers, especially when it comes to advertising and, your landing page and how it's structured. So now she sees this ad and it says get whiter teeth in 7 days, and she's like, well, I've got this summit in 2 weeks. If this happens in 7 days, that will be perfect, because I will then have a week buffer before I go on this thing. And then it says with proprietary formula. Okay, this sounds different. It's not like everyone else saying the same thing. What this is, a proprietary formula, is what we call a new mechanism. And it's especially when you're in a niche where customers are exposed to tons of marketing messages that they're used to, and they don't believe anymore because they've seen it all. So you use a new mechanism as a way of how you get the results for them, but that's a topic for another video. And then she sees a price there, it's like, oh, okay, 199. And then she quickly scans as well, and it's like, book now and receive free dental exam and cleaning plus bonus gift worth £200. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. She's probably thinking too good to be true. But and then obviously she's gonna click, but then she reads as well, results guaranteed or your money back. So okay, that's the risk removed from the situation. And then there's also social proof. Okay, 2,951 Trustpilot 5-star reviews. Wow. Okay, do you see now how all of this, how I've written this? It's given Charlotte all the information that aligns with the goal that she wants to achieve. So I'm signaling to Charlotte like, hey, I can get you the results that you want in the time frame that you want. So I'm answering how fast you can get the results. I'm answering the price it's gonna cost, and also I'm bumping up the offer, making it more attractive by offering free dental exam and cleaning plus bonus gift. And if you think about it, a lot of other dental clinics probably charge for this. So it's like, oh, I can receive this for free. This sounds like a steal. It would be stupid not to click on this and find out what they're about if this is legit. Now, after Charlotte gets the click and she says, okay, and then it brings her to what we call a dedicated landing page. Now, listen, let's slow down now. I know what you're thinking. What kind of landing page is this? Listen, I'm a strategist. I'm not a designer. So it's not about it being looking pretty. There's a great saying that form follows function. Get the function right before you make it look pretty. That's the thinking behind it. Okay. You'd be amazed how certain landing pages that doesn't look pretty convert at such a high rate, because it's doing the thing that it's meant to do. It's not focused on aesthetic. That can come after. I'm not saying making it look attractive is not important, but as I said, form follows function. So right, so she then clicks on the Google ad, and it takes her to a dedicated landing page. Notice it didn't take her to like a web page. It took her to a dedicated landing page with the one offer. So I want you to pay attention here to the what's going on. So the message, the congruency of the message from the ad that got the click is the same here. So think about it, how in terms of how I said system 1 and system 2 work in terms of the thinking that people do when they're buying decisions. This isn't taking brain power from Charlotte. She's not having to think and search for what she wants. It's just giving her the messaging that aligns with the goal she's trying to achieve. So you see, the same messaging that got the click from the Google ad here is the same thing actually. And one thing I forgot to do here, which is my bad, is put the price. But apart from that, everything is quite the same. So you have the name of the business here. You have the number, so they can call if they wanted to. And then it says, want to transform your smile. Yes, that's what Charlotte wants. And then he says, get whiter teeth in just 7 days with our proprietary formula. So the messaging is still the same. Now, along here, you have what we call the objection handlers. Now, this isn't necessarily what she might be thinking, or what this is. You do when you do research, you can actually find out, okay, what are the main objections that people have, and then you put them on here to then dampen any skepticism or any doubt or any inaction from a potential customer. And then also, so you have only 2 visits required, because that's what Charlotte might be thinking, and then it's like a painless experience because she might thinking, okay, will this hurt? And also, no enamel damage. So that might be something that people are worried about. Oh, will it damage my enamel? So that's how you sort of dampen the worry that people might have. And then again, you put the free dental exam plus cleaning, and then the free bonus gift worth £200. Okay, so now that's still a line, because if you didn't have it there, they'd be like, oh, but okay, but what about the thing that you mentioned in the ad that I clicked on about, the free dental exam and cleaning? So you put it there. So you're just making sure the message is congruent to what got the click on your land. So your landing pages need to be congruent with what got the click initially from the ad. Okay, it needs to be the same thing. It don't need to be something else random. Are you noticing that on here it's just one offer, the same offer, one call to action, and nothing else? It's not showing Charlotte about veneers or implants and all of this nonsense. It's just one offer. And that's the beauty of creating cognitive ease for customers, because this is powerful. Because if you're if they're having to think, then it's going to be a problem there, and they're just going to click off, and that's how your conversion rate suffers, and it plummets. And then you have the, as I said, the friction, not refriction, the friction remover here. So it's like results guaranteed, all your money back, no questions asked. So you see, okay, so there's no risk here, so she can get her money back if she don't get the results, but the results are guaranteed. Now you have the social proof here, over 2,951 Trustpilot 5-star reviews. Over 3,000 people have given 5-star reviews. This must be good. And this aligns with System 1, where it's like, it's because it's so specific, and it's getting straight to the point. It causes cognitive ease for the brain. It's not having to think, oh, will this work for me? There's social proof there. It's like, if it's worked for 3,000 people, it will work for me, even if I think I'm a special snowflake. And then you have the imagery here. I can't speak today. What's going on? You have the imagery right here. So you have the before and the after. So it's like, oh, if Charlotte's having doubt whether this will work, this, by showing her the before and after, it was like, oh, she can imagine and visualize herself, getting the results. And it's also credibility. So you can just, I can't speak. It's credibility. So you, as a business, is showing that you can get them the results that you're telling them that you can get for them. And then also you have the call to action, but I like to call it the call to value. So it's like, yes, give me $1 million smile. So it's like the call to action is more like centered around, or it's geared towards the actual outcome that they want. So do you see how this has created cognitive ease for Charlotte compared to what she did at the start, where she went to this clinic, but it's not telling her, or it's not showing her, or it's not signaling to her the actual goal that she wants to achieve. Now that you seen that, this is how you, as I said, you create messaging that resonates with the right people at the right time in the right context, and you're not allowing people to think about the options and having to worry, oh, will this work, or is this legit, or how much. Notice again as well, as I said, the ad that got the click, when you take them to the dedicated landing page, not your home page, your web page, a dedicated landing page with one offer and one call to action or call to value, then you're not confusing people. You're just asking them to take one action, and the order messaging aligns with their goals. So the takeaway here is, don't make the buyer think, because System 1, System 2, remember the framework, your brain doesn't want to think. It wants to make quick action oriented decisions. So don't make your customers think. Make everything as easy as possible to understand. Simple language, a clear offer, a clear action for them to take, and make sure everything is uh on your landing page is actually relevant. You don't have anything on there that isn't gonna um push them to take the desired action that you want them to take. Now, as I said, don't make the buyer think, and always signal that you're the best fit to help the consumer achieve their goals. So remember how I said at the start that it's not about being the best. It's important to have a good product, but it's about showing that you can help somebody achieve their goals, because that's who they will pay attention to. If you have a good product but you're not signaling with your messaging that you can actually help them, then it's not going to work. So that is how you turn strangers into paying customers. I hope you found value in this video. It's I didn't even know it went that long, but and anyway, it's full of value. And if you notice, it's not talking about quick tactics or tips or tricks. This is actually first principles thinking. And if you know the why, in terms of why certain things not working, why your ads not working, why your landing page is not converting, or why your customers not buying, you'll be so far ahead of your competitors. Tactics, they show you the how and the what, they don't show you the why. So yeah, hope you found value in this video. Like, share, subscribe. Obviously, I'll be dropping more videos exactly like this, where I'll be helping you craft better messaging for the right people at the right time. And yeah, let me know in the comments anything that you want me to explain further, or your thoughts. And yeah, I'm happy to help. If you're a business, whether you're small to medium service-based business, and you need help with your landing page in terms of like an audit, or you want your message to be structured, or strategy behind your messaging, then my email is in my description. Just drop me an email and I will get back to you. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.